The most first downs per rush of any team in the NFL.
That's right. And now what we are finding out is the Cowboys not only have trouble with opposing offenses and defenses, but they also have trouble with spectators inside their own building. There was an ESPN article that went viral this week regarding fan tours that are given at Cowboys headquarters. Basically, you can walk through the facility and see the players doing things. Yesterday, they asked Dak and CeeDee Lamb if those are a distraction. They had very different answers.
I'm not going to let a couple of people touring the building distract me. I'm present where I am. I think simply, honestly, I feel like it's an excuse. I mean, what's the difference in you guys coming in the locker room and talking? You know what I mean? Honestly, with guys about that too, and I don't get that.
Do you see the tours as a distraction?
Sometimes. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, but it's not all we're going to say. Ryan Clark, what do you have to say about that?
The guys complaining about the tours at the Star are simply giving a smoke screen for underachievement, because your environment is your environment. There are different things that happen at different facilities, but if this is where you practice, if this is where you prepare to play for games, then you have to understand how to adjust to those things. And the one thing that's not happening is they aren't bringing guys in tours and saying, hey guys, this is Lamar and this is Johanna, and they want to see what you're talking about when you're setting up to play the San Francisco 49ers run game. That doesn't happen.
Right.
There aren't tours. Grandma is not getting pushed in her walker while you're trying to do 7-on-7 on the 50-yard line.
That's right.
Those things don't happen. Now, if you have to talk to somebody, or if they're viewing you like a zoo animal and you don't like it, then you got to go to the owner and say, these things make me uncomfortable and inhibit me from doing my job at the highest level. And now, if Jerry Jones looks at you then and says, I don't care, I'm about making this money, now you know what I can say when I'm interviewed? He don't care about winning no championship, no way. That's not what it is. Dak answered this question like a man that just had a baby and just bought $1 million ring and proposed to his old lady.
Right.
Like a freaking adult.
Right.
Yeah.
Teddy, I see you nodding. You played for the buttoned-uppest of all buttoned-up organizations. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with Ryan. I love the way Dak has handled this in terms of trying to be a leader and what all these distractions are if you're playing for the Cowboys in that building. But, I mean, haven't thought about this more, but you shouldn't have those distractions. You shouldn't have to deal with them. I mean, there are certain areas I remember I could go where there was no pressure. It was the weight room, it was the training room, and it was the cafeteria. Okay, and we actually had back ways to go to every one of those where we could avoid the media in the locker room. So you're under pressure all the time in meeting rooms, on the practice field, in the locker room. You know there are people in the locker room sometimes, the media's in the locker room sometimes. It just doesn't have to be a circus. And Dak shouldn't have to deal with the circus. I feel like the Cowboys players shouldn't have to deal with the circus, because I can only imagine young players coming in trying to learn what it is to be a professional player, and then all of a sudden there's someone looking at you through the glass. I mean, my time with the trainers, my time with the weight room, I'm telling you, if someone came up to me while I was eating in the cafeteria, you're going to get bitter brew. I'm telling you, because that's my time. That's my time. That's with my boys. That's when we're watching TV. That's when we're talking and chopping it up. And it's like someone comes up to me and asks me for an autograph. It's going to be like, yeah, you better get out of here right now, because I'm not having this right now.
That's something that people should understand. The Cowboys, I've tried to make this point in different ways over the years on this show. They don't operate like other organizations do. Like, they just don't. And if people want to go to ESPN.com, read that story by Kalen, a very good story, that's the point of it, is like, this is a different animal, the Dallas Cowboys, because Jerry Jones talked to her for the story and was very enthusiastic about the topic. And she asked him, has anybody complained to you about it in terms of the players, whatever? He said no. He said, and it wouldn't make a difference if they did. So, like, that's how it's going to be. He is selling all the time, and this is a big part of what he feels like is his job as the owner of the Cowboys, is the fan interest and keeping that interest high. That is a fact of life if you're there.
When he wants their opinion, he'll give it to them.
Exactly.
That's kind of how Jerry Jones operates with that.
Let me ask the only question that matters, okay? Because at the end of the day, look, Teddy is saying, I wouldn't like it. I get it, you're not liking it. Does it have any impact on how they play, positively or negatively, in your opinion?
Well, it can only hurt. And I guess that's the point, right, G? If it doesn't have anything to do with winning, then why is it in the building? That's the part that I don't understand. And RG, I get what you were saying about the zoo, but I mean, think about it. The guys are in the weight room working out, and in the middle of the set, people are looking at them like guppies in a fishbowl.
Yeah.
That can't be good in terms of your team having the requisite level of focus and attention to detail that they need. And oh, by the way, you're starting to hear current and former players come out and say that's a problem for the Dallas Cowboys. We got it from Troy Aikman last week. We got it from Dak Prescott last week, talking about how they're not practicing the way that they need to, how they're not preparing the way that they need to, and that's leading to them underwhelming when they get on the football field. I can't help but think a part of it is the distraction. Now, I'm not saying it's all. I'm not going to absolve the players for what we've seen. The Cowboys have the third worst scoring differential of any team in the conference, so some of that has got to be on the guys on the field. But also, you have to consider the culture that's in the building, and those tours are a part of it.
They didn't start this year.
That's what I was going to say, Greg.
Take it away.
They ain't start that just now. Jerry Jones ain't just get like this. They've been like this. And last year, when we thought Dak was having an MVP caliber season, when headed into the playoffs, we expect them to dust the Green Bay Packers. We were like, this is great. We love everything that's happening here. They finally got it together. This is their opportunity to unseat the San Francisco 49ers. And they lost. And I know good and damn well that wasn't the first week that they had tours.
It was not.
But now it's a problem because they aren't playing well. But this is the atmosphere you're in. It's the same thing like when you're a kid, right? When you were a kid, you know the atmosphere of your house. And sometimes I would go to other people's house and I used to be like, you could talk to your mama like that? 'Cause at my house, you couldn't talk to your mama like that. So him being able to have a conversation about why he didn't want to go to bed didn't make sense to me, because that was not the atmosphere in which I grew up in. But if you are in that building, you understand that's what Jerry's going to do, Chris.
Exactly.
So you can allow that to affect your work.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I also go back to what Jake Lawrence said after they got smoked by the Green Bay Packers, where he was like, you know what? We were too burnt out to play well against the Green Bay Packers. We were too tired to put together our best effort. All I'm just saying is all of this nonsense, all of this noise around the team has an impact on the product that we're seeing on the field. Again, it's not all on the owner. It's not all on the head coach. But it doesn't certainly help the Dallas Cowboys get their season back on track.
It's just a fact of being there, right?
No,
I mean, like everything's
the
different.
owner creates the
Let me
environment.
get Teddy back in. Go ahead, Teddy. Go.
The owner creates the environment. Okay?
Right.
And so it does affect the way you play, because how you play depends on your preparation. And yes, they've had success in the past, but when you struggle, when you have a losing streak, when you're 3-3, when you got to fix major problems, everybody is grinding in there with pressure, and it's a pressurized environment from everyone. And then I got to deal with little Johnny here having a hot dog next to me, and then it's like you just can't do that. It distracts you. It distracts you from getting it distracts you from getting back to ground one and getting back to the basics and grinding and preparing, and it makes it harder to do. An environment that's conducive to winning. That's what we all want. Is this environment conducive to winning?
If there's one thing that Jerry Jones understands better than anyone, it's that this is a show.
Yes.
Right? What we're dealing here is a show.
Environment conducive to making money.
He's producing a show.
But it ain't for winning championships.
That's right.
There you go, Grimes.
And that's right.
Yeah.
And how much impact it has, it's impossible to say, but it definitely doesn't help. They're yelling at me that you need to go. Unsportsmanlike, coast to coast every weekday morning on ESPN.
Howdy, Cowboys Nation. Welcome to Dallas Cowboys Today, your number one source for all things America's team. If you're a diehard football fan and love our Dallas Cowboys, you're in the right place. So don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to stay updated with all the latest Cowboys news. Let's get started. Hey, Cowboys fans. Today's topic is one of those that makes us imagine big changes. What if I told you there's a proposal circulating that suggests bringing none other than Nick Chubb, the Cleveland Browns star, to strengthen our backfield? That's right. According to journalist Evan Massey, a trade idea is on the table that would bring Chubb to the Dallas Cowboys to fill that gap in our offense and give the team a fresh burst of energy. But before we dive into the details, let's take a look at the bigger picture. Nick Chubb, a key player in the Browns offense, made his return to the field in Week 7, logging 11 carries for 22 yards and a touchdown, along with a 10-yard catch. It might not have been the most impressive game, but it was a powerful moment for fans who have been following his journey back from a tough injury. However, with the Cleveland Browns currently struggling at a 1-6 record, a lot of trade rumors have started swirling around the team, and Chubb's name is right in the mix. What are the speculations? Well, one of the proposed ideas suggests sending Nick Chubb to the Dallas Cowboys in exchange for a 2025 third-round pick and a sixth-round pick. It would be a game-changing move for us, especially given our struggles with the ground game this season. For those who keep up with the Cowboys, you know Jerry Jones is always on the lookout for smart opportunities to strengthen the team, and bringing in Chubb would definitely elevate our backfield. But here's the question: does this trade really have a chance of happening? Although it's not impossible, the truth is that it still seems unlikely, at least for now. Jeff Howe from The Athletic pointed out that the Browns might need to consider a new quarterback in the upcoming draft, and a trade like this would make room for much-needed reinforcements. However, the odds of them letting Chubb go are still pretty low. So now I ask you, do you think the Cowboys should make a move to bring in Nick Chubb and revamp our rushing offense? Could he be the missing piece to spark our season? Drop a comment and let us know what you do. And, of course, if you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay up to date with all the latest Cowboys news, make sure to hit that like button, share this video with fellow fans, and subscribe to the channel. Here, you won't miss a single step of our journey to the top. Let's go, Cowboy Nation!